Hi, I'm Eric Engel, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. In this 20-minute video, I'm going to show you the two biggest marketing mistakes that virtually all businesses make in their marketing and advertising. Now, if you don't market or advertise in your business, then this isn't for you. But if you do, you'll find this information not only informative, but essential to radically boosting the response you get from your marketing and advertising efforts. Once you learn about these two mistakes, it'll be glaringly obvious why you're not getting the results you want from your advertising and marketing, and how to fix it. As a matter of fact, if you follow this process, you'll be able to separate yourself from your competition for good and create a culture where your customers, clients, or patients search you out rather than you searching for them. Now, you may be asking why I'm going to give you this information, and I want to be completely honest with you. At some point, you may need to create the perfect marketing system for your business. And I'd love to be the one to help you with that. But I want you to know you have absolutely no obligation to do business with me ever, unless you want to. So with that being said, if you have ever done any advertising or marketing for your business ever, at all, I can virtually guarantee that you have been making at least one of the two common marketing mistakes. And it doesn't matter if you've been in business 5, 10, 20, 30 years or more and have been getting what most people would consider pretty good results. I'm here to tell you that these two mistakes have cost you a lot of money and lost opportunity and lost business. And I'm not just blowing a lot of smoke here to catch your attention. In fact, I want you to get some of your marketing material out right now. Be it a brochure, a radio script, a TV ad, a newspaper ad, a magazine ad, your website, whatever it is, get access to it right now. And then evaluate it for yourself as I describe these two mistakes. I want you to objectively judge your own marketing and advertising and make a determination for yourself whether or not what I'm saying has value. So let's begin. Mistake number one is using one of the three forbidden phrases. So what are the three forbidden phrases? Well, they're phrases that use platitudes. In marketing, platitudes are essentially the kiss of death. So let me give you a definition of platitudes as they pertain to marketing. Platitudes are words or phrases that are dull, obvious, or predictable, that lack power to create interest because they are overused and unoriginal, that are nevertheless still commonly used as though they were unique or distinctive. Now, let me give you some examples of platitudes. They're words or phrases like highest quality, best service, largest selection, gets the job done right the first time, 30 years in experience, been in business since 1919 BC, honest, hardworking, you've tried the rest, now try the best, number one, your dealer of choice, state of the art, blah, blah, blah. Does it sound familiar? Of course it does. You've heard this kind of junk for years, but now here's the killer question. Do you have these terms in your marketing? I bet you do. I don't even know you, but if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I would bet the farm on the fact that your advertising and marketing is loaded with platitudes just like these right now. Take a look for yourself. Now here's the deal. These platitudes that fill up your marketing and advertising are killing your profits and destroying your market opportunities. You see, these platitudes don't distinguish or separate you in the marketplace. They don't quantify or specify anything. They're not believable and usually not provable, and they cause your prospects to minimize, discount, disbelieve, or worst of all, ignore you altogether. Ultimately, your target market ends up believing that you and your business are just like everyone else in your industry. And that's why your target market always ends up grinding you on price regardless of how great you claim your service is or how much better you think you are than your competitors. None of that matters because you've introduced yourselves to the marketplace as a scoop of vanilla in a whole sea of vanilla. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with vanilla. In fact, I love vanilla. But what I am saying is that if you're perceived as being vanilla just like everyone else, the only real message you're portraying to your target market is, hey, me too. Now, think about how pitiful that is. You see, this is why you're not dominating your market. And this is why your sales and revenues are dependent upon the force of the market and not your ability to win over more and more customers and dominate your sector. Now, that's a big difference. So let me break this down further for you by using some objective evaluations so you can determine if you really are using platitudes in your advertising or not. I want to take you through the 3 platitude evaluations. So let's review these 3 platitude evaluations which expose what we call the 3 forbidden phrases. Platitude evaluation number 1 is called, "Well, I would hope so." Seriously, that's the name of the evaluation. So here's the deal. Look at the statements and phrases in your advertising and then ask yourself this question. Could or would my prospects immediately respond to these statements by saying, "Well, I would hope so"? For example, I'm looking right now at a couple of ads for plumbers. One says, "We will find it and we will fix it." Well, I would hope so. You're a plumber, for crying out loud. Or how about this incredible headline? "Plumbing service and repair." Well, I would hope so. You're a plumber, right? I can't believe it. This plumber here does plumbing service and repair. Hey, quick honey, let's call him instead of the other 500 plumbers in the area who also do plumbing service and repair. Or check this one out that says licensed, bonded, and insured. They fix faucets and fixtures, water heaters, tubs and showers, etc. Well, I would hope so. You're a plumber. What else would you do? I mean, it's so painfully obvious that it's ridiculous. Or how about this common statement that says committed to honest and ethical service? Well, I would hope so. What else would you expect them to say? Hey, we're lousy, we'll show up late, we'll make your house dirty, expose our backsides to your kids and wife, and make sure that the problem that we fix will break again in a few weeks after we fix it. Of course not. Everybody's going to say great things about themselves if they can get away with it. You see how ridiculous these statements are? And yet everyone uses them, including you. The biggest problem here is the fact that your true uniqueness and your true strengths, the real benefits that your customers get from doing business with you over your competitors, can never shine when you use platitudes. So take a look at your advertising, especially all your printed advertising and marketing materials. Do they pass the, "Well, I would hope so" evaluation? Or are they full of platitudes? If you're using platitudes, then you need to make changes, or at least you better hope and pray that one of your competitors doesn't get a hold of this video program. This is only evaluation number 1. Let's go to the other 2 evaluations. Platitude evaluation number 2 is, who else can say that? Now pay close attention to this one, because the question is not who else can do what you can do, but who else can say what you say. And the answer is usually anyone and everyone. Here's a painter that says he's the California's best. Really? Who else can say that? Now this guy might just be the best in California and the best in the entire universe for all I know, but do you actually believe it just because he said it? I mean, who else can say that? Can't the guy on the next page of the phone book where I got this ad who says where integrity and quality meet, can't he also say he's California's best? Of course he can. You see, these statements are dull and obvious. They lack power to create interest because they are overused and unoriginal. And you know what? They were nevertheless used as though they were unique or distinctive. Now look at your ad, read a few lines, and then ask yourself this. Who else can say that? If one of your competitors can say it, then you have failed this evaluation. Now, one of the most common platitudes in advertising is to tell us how long you've been in business. Everybody thinks this matters, but I promise you it doesn't. Here's an illustration. I'm looking at a website for a chiropractor who thinks you should visit his practice because he's been a chiropractor for over 20 years. Who else can say that? Well, how about his competitor who has the next listing in Google who has been serving for over 30 years? You see what I mean? In fact, after this video, I want you to go online and type in any local industry to see what you can find on companies' websites. Look up attorneys, mechanics, financial advisors, banks, contractors, designers, manufacturers, architects, technology companies, software companies, or any industry imaginable, and compare them to the competitors who are on the first page of Google as well, and see what you'll find. What you're going to find is that everyone is using virtually identical marketing statements. They are all platitudes. Everybody is saying what everybody else is saying, meaning the marketplace has to assume that everybody is basically the same. Therefore, the only thing that should matter is price. Well, don't you hate getting grinded on price? Well, you know why? It's because you become a master of the platitude over the years. So let's move on to the third evaluation, which often hurts the most. Because of this one, it all becomes very apparent that folks have a marketing problem. Platitude evaluation number 3 is called the cross-out write-in test. And for this evaluation, I'm going to have you cross out the name of your company in your advertisement and then write in the name of your competitor. Cross out, write in. Get it? Now tell me this, is the ad still valid? If it is, then you just failed the test. Another way to illustrate this is to do it in reverse. Cross out a competitor's name and replace it with your company's name. Now tell me, is the ad still valid? I mean, really, I don't care if you absolutely know that you have higher quality than your competitor, because your competitor can still say they have higher quality than you, even if it's not true. I can give you hundreds of examples for insurance companies who can give you fast, easy quotes, or dentists who can offer complete dental care, or landscaping contractors who cut to perfection. But the bottom line is that none of these ads pass the cross-out write-in test or the other platitude evaluations. Now, when we implement the Total Dominance marketing program into your business, one of the first things we do is remove all platitudes from your existing advertising. And then we innovate your company and create a specific and strategic marketing headline, message, and campaign that absolutely separate you from your competitors and cause your prospects and customers to draw this simple conclusion. I'd have to be an absolute fool to work with anyone else but you, no matter the price. You see, as I've already mentioned, platitudes cause your marketplace to assume that you and your competitors are all the same, even though it's probably not true. You might have the best business of its kind in your industry, but since your ads and your competitors' ads all use platitudes, then the marketplace can't tell who actually offers the best value. So they call you up and ask you the same lame question that you're probably really sick of hearing, which is, how much do you charge? My friend, it doesn't have to be that way. Let me give you one last example. Take a look at one of your company's brochures. What's on the top of the front cover? More than likely, you've put your company name and logo there. Well, guess what? If you did, it just failed the exam. Now let me explain why. Nobody cares who you are until they know what you can do for them. Here's another secret. Instead of putting your company name and logo on the front cover of your brochure, you should put a hot button loaded headline that emotionally connects with your prospects and makes them beg to read the content on the inside. I will explain what I mean by this and exactly how to do it in our audio program, Total Dominance. So is this making sense to you as you listen? Is this starting to become evident that using platitudes might be a problem for you right now, and that you would have tremendous competitive advantage if you could figure out how to fix it? And the way to fix it is the marketing equation, or what we call strategic marketing message. Unfortunately, I don't have time right now, but it is in the Total Dominance audio program that you can request after this video. In that audio, I teach you how to become communications experts so you can start getting the results from your marketing that you should be getting. So now let's move on to the second most common marketing mistake. The second most common marketing mistake businesses make is what we call fragmented or piecemeal marketing. This is absolutely the wrong approach to marketing, and yet it's the most common approach in business today. Everybody is doing it, including you and your competitors. The good news, or bad news if you're slow, is that the first one to fix this problem basically wins. Seriously. Now let me explain fragmented marketing, which is a wrong way to do it, in contrast to what we call systematized marketing, which is a right way to do it. Fragmented marketing means that there is no cohesive message or comprehensive system handling your marketing for you. Instead, when you buy marketing or advertising, it is developed by the company creating the ad, right? Think back to the last marketing or advertising piece that you created for your company. What was it? A brochure, a website, a printed ad, a radio spot? So let me ask you a question. Who created the final product for you? They did, didn't they? The radio station created your radio spot, the magazine created your magazine ad, the design company created your brochure, the web design company created your website, and the video production company developed the content for your video, right? Think about how fragmented that makes your marketing efforts. All of those different companies having different ideas about what your marketing message should be based on in their limited experience. Inevitably, they all use platitudes and then try to throw in a dose of their own creativity. Think about how wrong this is. You need to develop and own your own message. You shouldn't leave it to others, and you certainly shouldn't leave it to multiple teams of others who don't really have your best interest in mind, nor do they care about your position in the marketplace. This is why you need a marketing system in place. This system dictates the content of the advertisements, and it dictates the sequence your prospects go through and the message that your prospects hear as they are ultimately led to your door. A systematized marketing program would actually facilitate the decision-making process. In other words, it would define what criteria your prospects should look for in a company, product, or service, and in doing so, it would lead them to buy from you and not your competitor. Here's another question to illustrate the problem. Take a look at your last advertisement. I know it's filled with platitudes, but here's the question. How much money did you pay to have the content of that advertisement strategically created and formulated to ensure maximum results? Now, I'm not talking about the design. I'm talking about the content, the message, what you actually said in the advertisement. Not what it looks like. See, that's what I thought. You paid nothing, right? 99.9% of the time, you only pay to have the advertisement produced or designed, or you paid for the spots for the airtime. The content was usually just thrown together by the designer or the production team or the salesperson. Think about it. The most important part of your marketing material, that is the content and the message, was put together for free by people who usually have no idea how to create good messaging anyway. Have you ever heard the saying, you get what you pay for? Well, I hate to tell you this, but if you've never paid anybody to create the actual message or content for your advertising campaigns, then you got what you pay for. So here's the point. When you think of marketing, you need to start thinking about your message. You need to think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. When you think of marketing, don't think of mediums anymore. Think of messaging. Only once you have the right message should you then start considering which mediums to run your marketing in. You see, this is a difference between a marketing system and typical fragmented marketing. A marketing system considers first the message, then it develops the message and installs the message into the comprehensive marketing system, which facilitates the prospect's decision-making process. Finally, it chooses the best mediums to put those messages into to generate leads to pump into the system. So now that you know what the two most common marketing problems are that businesses are making, I'd like to invite you to learn how to solve these problems. At Engel & Associates Business Solutions, we have developed a scientific marketing program called Total Dominance that effectively solves these problems and puts our clients on the path towards market dominance. This is a complete marketing system that will bring you to a place to crush your competition and cause your prospects to say, I'd have to be an absolute fool to do business with anyone else but you, regardless of price. This audio program is available exclusively from us here at Engel & Associates, and by the way, we normally sell this program for $197. But I'm going to offer it to you for free for a very short time. Just click the link on this page to get a copy for yourself. I'll even pay for the shipping. Now, with that being said, please understand that I'm not offering a sales pitch in disguise. You have no obligation to ever do business with me, and I promise not to press you or pest you ever again in any way at all. If you like what you've learned in this video, and even more important in the Total Dominance program I'm going to send you, then maybe we could work together at some point. If not, then that's okay as well. What I can guarantee you though, is that you have never heard anything like this ever before, and it would be a shame if you missed it. So go ahead, fill out the form on this page, or you can call our toll-free automated order line and request a program by phone. Either way, do it now because I have only set aside a small number of these to give away, and it would be great if you could get one of them while they're still available. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to see what other business owners have to say about this system on this page. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric Engel. Have a great day.